used to grind the grains. So you have a stirrer like egg beater or that kind. See, look, people lived a very advanced life in the old times. Now everything is getting motorized. That's it. All the kitchen utensils, a spoon which you use to turn the dosas. That one you fry them. You take all the stuff which is fried. Big one. Shells and conches. Old ships, old fishermen's catamaran ships. I don't know why most of them are naked. And the old typography, handwritten. But this one is a print of that. All porcelain jars, different kind, mud jars, faces. And beside me is the catamaran. Very big catamaran. Damn, this is like 4 feet high. See my height. So might have seen a little bit of my belly as well. Forget that and look at the height only. So just like 4 feet or so from inside. It's a big catamaran placed inside the hall. Probably they might have placed this and built this hut around that catamaran. Yeah, that is the only possibility, you know. You have other spoons made out of various materials, stamps. Probably these are from press. Other artifacts, chains made of iron and wood. Soapstone vessel, bamboo vessel where you kind of spin the cotton to threads. This one is used to spin the cotton to threads. Or this is probably the fishing net. I'm sorry, I'm wrong with the reference. Probably this is a fishing net. Why would there be a cotton spinning instrument in a fisherman display? There is a photograph of anchor a person recovering some Indian vessel. Few other arts made out of the shell. I think they have sealed them on a epoxy resin. You have few more shells and conches. So hard to cull. This is the cull this is the cull you rotate with. This is the Ural which we saw in Trichy museum episode. Some bones of the fishes. Coral reef, that's what it's called as. A few more pots. A lot of pots. These are pots. This is also a pot. I'm not yeah, this is not coning down. This has got to be a pot. There is no holes on the sides, so you don't, when you bury the old people, they make holes for breathing. So this one doesn't have a hole. This is some cooking vessel or probably a huge pot where they store fishes and stuff, you know, to make pickles or something. The dried fish is called as karuvad. So you have more artifacts and displays, arts. Oh, you should visit this place, man. I might be boring you guys with my language and my perspectives and the things that I saw in my life, but it would be nice if you guys visit and know it for yourself. These are handmade, handcrafted wooden dolls. We call them as Marapachi in Tamil, but these are also called as a doll, just a bommai, you know. But mostly I think from my old days, my granny's days, you know, the stories that my granny told me, you know, it's called Marapachi. This is made of ebony, I believe. So they kind of grind this, as I said in that episode, like sandalwood. They will make a sandalwood paste, right? So they kind of grind this wood or the doll from the bottom part a little bit and apply it on your nose or a pimple or your as a sunscreen lotion or the places where you get rashes and everything, you know, where fluids come out, you know. So these wood kind of dries up and cleans the wound for you. So they would use that. I have used it that way. So we'll kind of grind this doll and use that paste and apply it on our face or the places where we get rashes. So these are called Marapachi dolls. You have some fountain pens. Wow, nice. This is interesting. I have never seen a pen of that thickness. And this is a pin which would run in the, you know, sewing machine. I mean, textile machine. You know, it runs between the threads. Hard thing. There are like a photo essay of 10 to 15 photographs that I have, which I never published. I took it from a local textile weaver. I mean, from a weaver somewhere in the outskirts of Chennai near Red Hills. I never published those photographs, but I like them actually. It was taken from the old, very first camera that I owned, Canon 600D actually. I never published them, but let me see. If you like it, I'll show them in this video probably. But I'm not promising anything for you guys, alright? So you have various pipes, weights, oil measuring cans, and storage measurements for you know, distributing the grains. You know, that's called padi. The cylindrical hollow vessel that is called padi. Okay, this one is oil cans. These are weights, various weights for you know, collecting, distributing gold, silver and everything. You know, the pawn shop guy. I personally have used these weights. I think my granddad had this in his home, these weights of various grams. These are mini scale, micro scale, and these are bigger ones. So I have used that. He had it. That weight scale is from my mom's side, her dad. So you have a few more Marapachi dolls made out of soapstone. These are made of mud. It's called Golabomai, and painted it. They would display it after Diwali on Dashara. You know, the stories of their gods, the epics and everything. They will narrate it with these dolls in the display. You have various bullets, smaller ones, you know. You have the printing press letters. Yeah, this place is really interesting, man. You will know the history, you know, like 20 years before we actually had a chance to see all these things in person, because either our great granddads or like granddads kind of owned either one of these. But 20 years now, like I'm like 37, and we still find this to be, you know, the usual household stuff. But for the modern 2K kids, probably they might find it much more interesting, because these are pretty old for them. We don't use such things. We are in the era of you know, globalization. I imported knives from Japan, kotobuki and nakiri, for my kitchen utility, you know. So we are in this globalization era. So we are making trade through e-commerce. So probably this place is way more interesting for the modern day kids. You have a tabletop model of the, entire ship. It's called Jilland, probably J silent, Iland. You have various kerosene stoves, kerosene lamps. And by the way, this Danish fort actually got damaged way too much in the 2004 or 2005 tsunami, and it was rebuilt again. So most of the fishermen here lost their livelihoods. So you have some weaponry, storage utilities, the bamboo stuff, the twines they use for catching fishes. You have the bags that they carry to catch fishes, you know, the bags that they keep the catch, you know, from the river. After they fish with the fishing net, they put the catch into this bag and tie them up. Look, the design. It's amazing, right? Oh, probably these are the Prada and Gucci for them. This is a palm leaf design. They drink wine and other local toddy with that. So you have few more shells, conches, other weaponries, and those are used to cut the nutmeg stuff, you know. It's like clamp. You put the nut in between and cut them up, crack the nut, you know. All the pistachios, cashew nuts and everything. You have all the daggers here, small daggers, and few could be, you know, rubbed with the poison, you know. You throw at the enemy, you do not have to stab the enemy. It's okay enough to make a you know, scar in their skin. The person might die because of the poison. So my granddad had a knife with him in his walking stick. So it is very sharp, of a very thin and very sharp, kind of my arm's length. He would never give it to me actually, because I am very playful. So that knife is poisoned actually, and there he had one more knife with him. This is from my mother's side. He had one more knife with him. It will be in boomerang shape, and it will have porous ends in the bottom, wherein you can put the powder of the poison inside. So when you strike the enemy once with that boomerang knife, or you could even throw it, so that poison would kill him. So look how people used to live in the olden days. Because my granddad was one of the in charge, most respectable person in the village. So later his after the democracy and stuff, it kind of declined, and he also lost major land that he owned or had rented with one of the laws that was made in that time. You know, Urdavarke Nilam Sondam. So he lost most of his land, 80%. So he became very poor, and later that he had nothing to live with. You know, my mother had a very terrible childhood days. You know, she might not have a changing dress for tomorrow's school. So they might, you know, take the sari and roll it up for their pillows. That kind of sad days. They might not have food for a few days. So that kind of sad stuff. So we had a very beautiful life and had a decline also. So my mother has seen a lot of stuff which we should not see in everyday life. So I have a lot of respects for my granddad, my mother's granddad. I'm kind of getting a little emotional right now. But yeah, my mother suffered a lot. So was my father, but he had a different kind of lifehood, because he stayed for the most of his childhood days with his great granddad, who used to take care of this here temple pujas and stuff. You have many big knives and daggers. Look at the teeth in that knife. Oh, amazing. See, I told you, no, boomerang kind of shaped knife, you know, this is the one. My granddad's knife had even more carve, you know. That's amazing, man. So you should bring your kids here. It's amazing. So That's this museum for you guys. Culture, Heritage Center or Culture Center. Danish Culture Center. You have few maps. These are handmade, I could tell. But the prints of handmade. So paintings of those days. This is an actual photograph. And few books of this library. Probably it's closed. Few more on this table for display. I know I'm not supposed to touch them. These are all in Danish or German, I'm not sure. So, Denmark. Guys, look how big the entrance is. We live in a 2-bedroom house and 3-bedroom house. Look how our entrance looks like. So we saw the rails, right? Railway track kind of stuff in Trichy museum episode. So you could see that here as well. We also saw the similar construction in Cuddalore episode as well, from that abandoned building. So it was really interesting walk. We got to see a lot of things. 20 minutes cartoon movie. Yeah, okay, good. Hello, one ticket though, no? Thank you. There is a photo in the top floor itself. We'll go there as well. Okay, we have some maintenance work happening with the plumbing. So we are going to the stairs now. First floor now to take a look at the photographs. So that was very interesting. This is probably one of the episodes which contain less photographs and a lot of talking and visuals and a little bit of history as well. My GoPro battery is dying, so since I'm a big size guy, this door is kind of closed for one side. You have to enter the room very slowly. These are modern chairs. Look at the retro colors, yellow, blue and white. More photographs to look at. Probably streets of Denmark or the Kronborg Castle. Yeah, this is the Kronborg Castle. So the Danish fort that you see from here is considered to be the second largest to this Kronborg Castle. So the water that you see around the castle is called moat, or called agari in Tamil. So the moat around the Danish fort seem to have disappeared over time, around 400 years, but the moat is still alive in Kronborg Castle. I find this to be more posh and amazing, This is like lovely. In this Kronborg Castle even has a reference from Hamlet, Shakespeare's Hamlet. Says like immortalization of Elsinore or something, So I do not know about that, but yeah, I think this is Kronborg Castle. Nice photographs of Denmark, I believe. Modern day, you could see some wind energy windmills over here, so probably these are modern stuff, not the old photographs. Some sceneries, jerseys of Denmark, Jersey cows. You have few more photographs. I'm not sure if it is in Denmark. Some hanging bridge.